When you think of a shotgun vlogging microphone, you probably think of something like the Rode NTG or the Sony ECM-M1. To me, the image of the Rode microphone on the camera is kind of iconic, and it seems like every modern creator is using the Sony ECM-M1. Recently, I picked up the Luna Ultra Creator combo, which comes with the Mic Pro from Insta360. Now, I was having coffee with my friend Davey, who mentioned that the Mic Pro has a shotgun mode, and wondered out loud how it would compare to other shotgun microphones. So I went on Amazon and bought the Rode NTG and the Sony microphone, and then I reached out to a contact at Insta360 to have them send me the receiver and the Mic Pro individually so I could use them with my camera. This video isn't sponsored, they have no idea what I'm making, and nobody's looking at this video before it goes live except for me. So to start things off, what you're hearing now is the Rode NTG mounted on the top of my Sony camera. So the Rode NTG has a battery life of 30 hours and charges via USB-C. It has a built-in battery, so you never need to actually switch it out, but you do rely on the battery being built in. If you need to charge it up, Rode's website says it takes about 2 hours to get from 0 to full. Right now I'm about 2 feet from the mic, which is kind of vlogging territory. Now I'll take a step back to see what the microphone sounds like if I'm just over an arm's length away. Now this is the Sony ECM-M1, which is set to its shotgun mode, which is what we're comparing here, especially given that the Rode NTG only is a shotgun microphone. And one of the huge benefits of this microphone is that it connects in the hot shoe of the camera, so it uses the battery of the camera. So you never have to actually worry about charging the battery, you would just switch out the battery on your camera, which then applies to the microphone. So right now I'm just over a foot from the camera. This is kind of vlogging territory. Now I'm gonna take a step back. I'm just around 3+ feet away from the camera, so this is what it sounds like. Now you're listening to the Insta360 Mic Pro set in its shotgun mode. Now the Mic Pro has one huge advantage that the other microphones don't have, and that's that it has 32-bit float internal recording. So you never actually really have to worry about setting your levels. You could quickly just set things up, hit record on the microphone itself, and know that you have a clean audio file on board there. For battery life, the Mic Pro gets you about 10 hours. And if you need a top up, 5 minutes of charging gets you about an hour and a half of recording. And to get fully charged takes about an hour. Right now I'm standing just over a foot away from the camera, which is kind of that vlogging territory, and then I'll take a step back. So I'm about 3 feet away from the camera, over an arm's length away, and this is what it sounds like. And now we're back on the DJI Mic Mini 2. Now when it comes to cost, this combination of the Insta360 Mic Pro runs you about $200 US. If you wanted to pick up kind of the gold standard, the Rode NTG is about $250. And the Sony ECM-M1 commonly runs you about $350. So here we are standing next to a street with cars running past it to see what the Rode NTG sounds like with a bunch of traffic around. This is kind of that vlogging length, just about over a foot away from the camera. So this is the Insta360 Mic Pro next to a busy street with cars driving past. This is what it sounds like. Now this is the Sony ECM-M1 on a busy street with cars driving past. This is what it sounds like when you've got a bit of a noisy environment. Now we're back inside in a super echoey environment. This is the Mic Pro from Insta360. I'm sure you can tell, but the camera is being handheld, so it's about arm's length away from me. Now in that same super echoey environment, this is the Rode NTG. In this test, I haven't made any changes to the filter settings. Everything is just set at off. And now, like you might have guessed it, this is the Sony ECM-M1 in the super reflective environment with the noise cancellation on the microphone turned off. Now what you're hearing is the Insta360 Mic Pro in a room that has a bit more natural sound dampening. I am still hand holding the camera, so the audio you're hearing would be a good example of what you would get if you were out vlogging. Now we're using the Rode NTG in a room that has a bit more sound dampening. It's not perfect, but it's definitely not as reflective as the space I was in before. Now what you're hearing is the Sony ECM-M1. I'm still in a room that has a bit more sound dampening, not as reflective as what you had before, and we're hand holding the camera, so this is kind of what you can expect if you're out vlogging. So I'm just wrapping up the edit of this video and I've had a chance to listen to all the audio. In my opinion, the best sounding raw audio out of all of them is the Rode NTG. If you're listening on headphones or good speakers, you'll notice that it just sounds the fullest. I'd feel comfortable just tossing compression on it and calling it a day, which is all I did to the clips where you saw that the audio was adjusted. Between the Sony ECM-1 and the Mic Pro, I found that they sounded pretty similar. The Mic Pro definitely has more high end than the Sony, which for some voices might be good, but on mine I prefer to dial out the high end of the microphone just a little bit. So in the clips where the Mic Pro is adjusted, I've added light compression, turned the high end down, and given the low end just a tiny bit of a boost. For all the adjusted clips with the Sony microphone, I added light compression and a slight bump on the low end. Ultimately, I am very impressed with how the Mic Pro is able to compete against these other two microphones. Out of the three, it has the lowest cost, it has internal recording, and it's also a really good wireless lavalier microphone. I've also seen that there's an adapter for the Sony hot shoe for the Mic Pro, so that would remove the need for the 3.5mm cable and is definitely something that I would consider buying. The Sony ECM-M1 has that advantage of convenience since you can just plug it into the hot shoe, set the leveling to auto, and not really have to do anything else. The thing is, for me, when I look at the cost and the audio performance out of the Sony microphone, it's not really blowing me away, so I would personally recommend looking more towards the NTG or the Mic Pro. Let me know what you think about the audio of these microphones in the comments. If you'd like to buy any of these microphones, I'll put affiliate links in the description, which helps to support me as a creator at no extra cost to you. Thanks for spending time watching this video. Here's the part where you hit subscribe, and then I see you in the next one.